Hello, welcome to Movies I Love with yours truly, Nomfanelo Malloy. So, in honor of the release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I will be discussing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2. Both films are written and directed by James Gunn. So, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 was released in 2014. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came out in 2017, and both films are part of the MCU, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I saw both of these movies in theaters at the time during their theatrical release. Because I first heard about those movies because I've watched all the previous Marvel movies at that point, and I would say I enjoy both of the movies, but if I were to choose one that I liked, I would say is the first one because I found for me like the story worked more in the first movie as opposed to the second movie. I think like the second movie I would say does a better job in terms of the family dynamics because with the first movie they all meet for the first time and are pretty much thrust together um, because they have a common mission. While like with Volume Two, like clearly they have better dynamics together, and I guess that is challenged when the villain ego comes into the picture. So why do I love both of these movies? So the concept first of all, because so both films they focus on a group of misfits, and it's just interesting to see like characters, lead characters that are not perfect. um yeah, and it shows that like they don't fit in within society for various reasons. So I thought that was interesting. The world building, obviously, um, because if you watch the MCU, this movie is set in its own universe that's away from Earth. Even though like it does show Earth, particularly in the first movie, but here like we focus more on the galaxy, the different planets or the worlds that the characters are from. And I like how this film is sort of outside of the MCU in terms of the typical movies that they've produced up to that point. Also, too, what I like themes on family. So, obviously, with the first movie, it deals with people with different personalities and so forth are kind of thrust together, and that's when they form a friendship, but also to a family in ways, because and also to uh, the parental relationships. So with Volume One, it was more on Peter and Meredith, where in the movie Meredith she dies because of cancer, which really affects Peter at a young age. When you see in the opening sequence, and I guess throughout the movie, like he's dealing with grief, and I'll touch a bit on that point a bit later. While with Volume 2, it's more about the father dynamics with Peter and Ego. While here, it's really about Peter trying to find his identity after the events of Volume 1 and essentially protecting, I guess, family lineage. And also, too, it deals with sibling relationships, particularly with Gamora and Nebula, because they are sisters, or they have the same father, which is Thanos, and they I guess they always had a sibling rivalry to compete for Thanos' love, but in the movie Volume One, Thanos pretty much said that Gamora is his favorite daughter, which obviously uh, pisses Nebula off. And yeah, it was just interesting to see with both movies their relationship unfolded on screen in regard to the main storylines of the films. Rocket and Groot, their relationship also is cute and adorable because yeah, both those characters are not human, and they have like a good chemistry. I would say with both movies, and because I guess with Groot, the thing is he always keeps saying, "Oh, I am Groot," which no, everybody's like, "What? What are you talking about?" But I guess with the way that Groot says it in different iterations, if you know the subtext, that is spot on. Also, to what I like, I mean, this is James Gunn's vision. I have not seen his previous stuff. I know that he wrote the script for the Scooby Doo movie, but I like here essentially he made being weird cool because who would have thought that a movie that has a talking raccoon and the tree would work, but somehow like it works in this movie, which is cool. And I love like the use of comedy in these movies because at least here it's not too literal. Well, I think with the second one, it leans on the jokes more than the first movie. I would say like one of my favorite comedy aspects of the film was from Volume One with the prison break sequence where they showed a wide shot of Gamora, Peter, and Rocket discussing how to break out of prison, essentially. While that's in the foreground, while in the background Groot is trying to steal the battery as Drax watches. So I thought that was cool and hilarious to see. And I love how both movies they have some memorable quotes. From Volume One, what stands out to me is when one of the Nova Corp officers says, "What a bunch of a holes." That's when the Guardians of the Galaxy are arrested, and also too from Volume One when Star Lord's like, "Oh, I'm Star Lord," and then the bad guy's like, "Who?" That was cute. And then from Volume Two, what sticks out is when I'm blanking on his name when he says, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all." That was cute, and obviously I am Groot with that saying many times by Groot. It's quite adorable. It may get a bit repetitive at times, but I enjoy it. It works. And for me, like one of the aspects that I really enjoy about both of these movies is music, the use of it. So with the diegetic music, so the songs are from Peter's Walkman that he listens to, which has his awesome mixtape, which was compiled by Meredith. So clearly there like there's a personal connection to I guess in terms of learning who like her mother is and that sort of deal. And the songs are they range from like the 60s to the 80s. Now, if I were to choose which soundtrack was better, in my opinion, I would say is the first movie because with the songs that stood out to me from Volume One was "Hooked on a Feeling," which that was used during the promos for that movie, and "Come and Get Your Love," which was during Peter's introduction when he's trying to steal the orb, and "I Want You Back" during the end credits with Baby Groot dancing in the foreground with Drax in the foreground, essentially tooling his knife and him trying to take a peek at Groot and Groot stands still. That is just hilarious. And also too, I enjoyed the non-diegetic music with the score by Tyler Bates, and obviously for me, one of my favorite tracks is the theme of the movie. And also, too, I enjoyed the performances from the cast. I think everyone did a good job. If I were to choose who stood out to me in both movies, I would say Chris Pratt as Star Lord, because this is a different role for him outside of, I guess, his comedic roles at the time, mainly Parks and Recreation. And this movie elevated him to leading man status. And I think before the first movie, he did some more serious roles, like with Moneyball and Zero Dark 30 in supporting roles. But with this movie, with Volume 1, it just took him to the next level. Dave Bautista as Drax, he here this role shows his abilities to do both comedic and drama, which is cool. And I didn't know like he was a wrestler before. I guess this movie. So yeah, like he did a great job with this role, and Bradley Cooper as Rocket because his voice is different. When I first heard him, I'm like it kind of sounds like him, but maybe it's not. But then it wasn't until I saw like the behind the scenes video of him in the booth recording, like, oh, that's him. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So, in terms of expectations for Volume 3, just based on the promos that I've seen, I gather it's going to be more emotional since this is the final movie of the series. And it's going to lean towards Rocket's backstory in relation to his relationship with the villain of the movie. And I figured that themes of family and sacrifice will play a role in this film, and also too we can't forget Awesome Mixtape Volume 3. I believe the track list is out. I've not checked that out yet. Like I'll just wait until seeing the movie and see how that one is. But yeah, like hopefully with the third movie, like we get a satisfying conclusion. So that pretty much wraps up with what I have to say for Volume 1 and 2. I would like to know, what do you guys think of those movies? Which one of those do you prefer? Any favorite moments, scenes, or aspects of the movie you enjoy or maybe dislike? Let me know in the comment section. So you could find those films to your local provider. I believe they are both streaming on Disney Plus. You could find my socials in the description. And I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.